Time for another DestinationVolleyball.com video chat with my guy, Bill Ferguson, sitting in his lovely backyard in Torrance, California. And you're looking good, sir, and the backyard's looking better.
Thank you. So really cool. I think they call it space nowadays. It's a really cool place to get outside, get away. It's kind of hot out here in Torrance. It's been in the 90s. Not hot for you guys out in Baton Rouge, but hot enough here.
Well, you know, we got the humidity. We've actually had a little bit of a cold snap. It's been in the 60s at night, which for us starting to feel like Antarctica, but it's just a joke because it'll be high humidity and high 90s again soon enough. Anyway,
yeah, 140.
Things heated up yesterday. I wrote my blog already, and I made fun of myself because I had the main TV going, I had the Apple TV going, I had the iPad going. So I was watching 3 matches at once almost all day. You were lucky enough to go to one. You went to Virginia at Loyola Marymount, huh?
Yeah, it was an exciting match. I mean, every game was a deuce game except one, which was 25-22. Virginia ended up winning the match, but there was a cool little story within the story there. Loyola has this dynamite setter, Hannah Tedrow. And if I'm gaffing her last name, I couldn't find a pronunciation guide. She's listed at 5'8". She's athletic as all get out, and she runs Tom Black's offense, which is mirroring the U.S. national team offense. They run the ball real fast, and they really challenge the blockers. She does a great job, and they were rolling and playing really well in the first set, and they were. They win the first set. Second set, she extends to dive for a ball, and it looked like injured her rib. And you know, she laid out, you know, reached out on her side, and basically hurt herself somehow. I don't know exactly what happened, and so she had to be taken out of the game. Now, Loyola's only other setter on their roster is Sarah Sponsel, who was recruited as an outside hitter, as a setter, and started on the outside as a freshman last year, and was the ABCA Regional Player of the Year for freshmen. And so this girl was leading the team in kills, and ended up halfway through the second set, had to set from the outside hitting position. Then Loyola had to change their lineup in set 3. And it was pretty clear that Sarah's been training as an outside hitter. She did fantastic as a setter, but this team battled like crazy. And so essentially they lost their best setter, and then they had to lose their best outside hitter because their best outside hitter had to set. And Sponsel did a wonderful job setting. So it looks like Hannah Tedrow is going to end up coming back. She was able to come back and join her team on the bench, but man, it was pretty cool to see this quick change. And by the way, all the while, Tom Black is with the U.S. women's team at the World Cup in Japan right now. So here you are as an assistant coach, coaching the team. Your one setter goes down. You got to make a change, and you got to have someone setting out of a different position midstream. So hats off to the Lions. They battled their hearts out, and you know, Virginia got the best of them, but it was an exciting match, and it was really cool to see the fight of Loyola and how they sort of banded together around that change they had to make.
Yeah, well, you've certainly dealt with injuries before, and as a coach, there's so many things going on in the game, and it's such a rapid-fire, quick look ahead to the next play, and then to make that kind of switch. I mean, you've had to do it as the men's coach at USC and in your many other capacities.
Yeah, it's you know, you never want to see one of your players go down, obviously, but you know, you do have to prepare for that eventuality. You know, and Loyola, you know, their coaching staff, you know, they immediately went to a sheet, and they obviously had a game plan lined up for what they had to adjust to, and so that was, you know, they were prepared for that, and they made the change as best as they could. So it was really cool to see them adjust on the fly like that.
Yeah, because the coach in you is probably working it the whole time. You know, it's funny. We have what we call here Roger and Fuego. They're almost 13, and I call them the world's 2 stupidest dogs. And you just never know when they're going to bark real loud. And I do a lot of interviews here at what we call DestinationVolleyball.com corporate headquarters, and they've ruined more radio and TV interviews. And I've got a cat that meows super loud. And luckily, in all the times that we've talked, I've been doing all this stuff, they rarely have interacted. Of course, I don't have a child yelling "Daddy" from the side, so I love that.
Yeah, I know. My she likes to be involved.
I love it. Across town last night, one of the two matches featuring ranked teams. The other was Kentucky beating Michigan State in 5, both ranked, and then North Carolina traveling to Southern Cal and USC winning that one. That's a featured match for the day, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was that was a pretty interesting storyline too. You know, SC having to go through some change. You know, had a couple kids transfer out. All the while, you know, SC last spring quietly was going about their business, practicing and changing basically the way they did everything. They changed their offense. They went to a faster, just a little more faster offense. They went to a little bit more of a dynamic blocking system, probably a little bit more of a swing blocking system. You know, and it looked like it worked out pretty well for them. They played really well last night. You know, Bricio, of course, had a boatload of kills, but I thought the cool story there was she had some help. She had 3 other players in double-digit kills that were, you know, Brittany Abercrombie, her sophomore opposite, had 13 kills. Elise Ford, freshman outside hitter, had 10 kills. And Alicia Ogums, their middle blocker, she had 10 kills, and she's a senior, but hasn't really produced a whole lot numerically for them. She's been an okay blocker, but to have her be able to go off offensively is real big for them. And, you know, they've got, you know, freshman setter. They got a junior setter, Alicia Piazzagola, who kind of is the heart and soul of that team. And so they're Mick's got a lot of girls, you know, producing. So it looks like they're enjoying their new offense and defense, and so far so good for the Trojans.
Yeah, this is, of course, Bill Ferguson, the former USC men's coach. His volleyball club, SCBC, is one of the national powers, and he's well in tune with the women's game. I'll leave you with a couple of quick observations from me yesterday watching all those matches. Haley Hodson, the freshman opposite for Stanford, is the real deal. My goodness, she adds a dimension that you can't believe. And here's a team that loses Inky Iwanabu, and wait, I'm going to butcher another name in a second. Inky,
like your pronunciation guy.
And they looked fantastic. Stanford did.
Yeah.
And, you know, you mentioned USC losing a transfer, not just anybody, Ebony Nwanabu, who's a Texas Cruise yesterday, but also a freshman setter named Jordan Poulter, who's at Illinois. I was so impressed. Kevin Hambley's got a good one there. And you know better than anyone the value of a freshman setter, because when Micah Christensen came in for you, you know, you had an Olympic caliber player at like 18 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, he was special, and it is unique to have a setter come in as a freshman and be able to run your offense and run your team. So no matter what your age or who your captain is, your setter has to run the offense. They are the quarterback. If you think about it, every player on the floor has to look at that setter between every play. So not only do they have to be physically good, they have to be intellectually good, because they have to understand, you know, who's hot, who's not. They have to be able to read their players as far as, you know, what are the signs that someone's comfortable versus someone's getting into like what we call sometimes a yellow light situation mentally. And then then there's the setting part of it, where you got to know what your strength is versus your opponent's weakness. And then, so there's a whole lot to it. So to have a freshman come in and be good, that's pretty unique. There's been a few of them over the years on both sides of the gender wall, but man, it's huge when you can get one because you know you're going to have a good one for 4 years.
All right, Coach Bill Ferguson, always enjoy visiting with you, and enjoy playing with your kid and then being in that beautiful backyard, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, she's a little ticked off because she wasn't the show right there. But
you know, next time let's make sure we get her in.
We'll do.
All right. See you, Bill.
Thanks.